everyone, it's Monday.
And this is Business as Usual with an asterisk. It's Mike and Mary. And you know, we've been talking a lot and hearing a lot about washing our hands, sanitizing, spatial distancing. And that's all about physical hygiene.
Right.
But our subject today
is mental hygiene.
And that's just as important as the physical part, especially in this period of forced isolation. Don't you think?
Yeah. So we want to get you thinking, and we'd like for you to have the best week of quarantine yet. And that starts today.
And goes all week, okay? This isn't a one-day project. We're going to talk about this all week. Day 36 today, mental hygiene. I want to start with the word.
All right.
Stress. Do you know what stress stands for? STRESS. Stop taking real estate so seriously. You know, there's things we can do, things we can't do. If you focus on what you can do and stop taking real estate so seriously, lots of us have realized, you know what? It's kind of a part-time job right now.
Can be. Some of us are still proceeding at a breakneck speed.
Yeah.
And so take a look if that's you and say, do I really need to do this? What am I spending my time doing? Am I going to accelerate when I'm out of quarantine and I'm going to be exhausted? So are you taking care of yourself? I think this is the week. This is the day of the week that we take a look at how you're spending this quarantine.
You know, Floyd tells us the two symptoms of stress, feeling overwhelmed or feeling like you're just a hamster on a wheel, spinning your wheels,
right,
not getting any traction. That could be a pretty common feeling in this time. So stop taking real estate so seriously. That's our first tip for today. What's our second?
Well, it's about how you think. You know, there's a lot of things that factor into how you think.
Think. We form things in our thoughts. Every great revolution has begun with a thought. Every great creation of man has begun with a thought. And we're reinventing our real estate business. The lovely part about the quarantine, about this downtime, is that it's given a lot of us more time to just think.
That's for sure. We heard from two major hitters this past 2 weeks, and both of them unsolicited, just in the conversation, said the same thing. This has given me an opportunity to actually think. And what have you been thinking about? Because both of these people are thinking about two specific things. Number one, how's my life going? 911, 9/11 did that, right? It caused people to quit their job and, revolutionize the way they were living their lives.
Reevaluate what's important.
Reevaluate, that's right. And this is a good time for us to do that. The other thing that both of them mentioned they're thinking about is their business. What can they be doing? What should they be doing? How do they envision their business long range? And how much is enough?
Napoleon Hill titled his book, Think and Grow Rich, for a reason.
Yeah.
So it all begins with how you think.
That's for sure.
And you're not going to think very clearly if you're not getting your rest.
Right. And that's our third point today. So how are you doing with that? These first couple weeks of quarantine, which, by the way, has a different start date depending on what state you live in.
Exactly.
And how, what your numbers were looking like and how many deaths and all that stuff. There were an awful lot of people that were in complete denial. This isn't happening. It's not going to come here. And at the same time, there were an awful lot of people that went into a frenzy, were very, very worried, and many with good reason, because people in their family were fragile. We didn't know, is everyone going to get this 90%? I think the English Prime Minister, right?
Yeah, Boris Johnson.
Right. I believe he said...
Is he related to you?
No. He expected 86 or 89% of the population to contract the virus. Now, we're not done with the virus yet. It's going to be here a while, right? But there was a lot of fear and worry, and that may have disrupted your rest. And so now, how are you doing?
Well, take advantage of this time. Turn that alarm off. Sleep until you don't need to sleep anymore. And at the same time, we're going to talk about what you eat. We've been learning some new things about food recently.
Yes, we have.
And one of them is that the mood and the attitude you take toward eating really affects how well you digest the food and what the food does to you while you're digesting. So take care to enjoy the food. We learned a lot from Jenny Craig about portion control.
Right.
When you're not hungry anymore, stop eating. And
what a concept.
Yeah. Are you eating what's in the house and not running to the store every half hour or every day? You don't need to do that. Stay safe. There's a wonderful old book called The Joy of Cooking. There's a great series on Netflix about cooking with Michael Pollan's book.
No relation.
Yeah.
It's called Cooked.
Cooked. It's a wonderful series. Yeah. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the kitchen. Enjoy the experience of cooking for yourself.
What if
and
you
for your
could?
family.
What if you could? What a crazy concept. Who has time for that usually? And when you do cook, you tend to cook, massive volumes because you're hosting a party, you're having people over or whatever. This is a different kind of cooking. And this quarantine, and if you're really doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is limiting your number of trips to the grocery store, right? Then it requires us to have some forethought, to plan ahead a little bit, to dig through our freezer. Have you looked in your freezer? Have you dug things out of there that you didn't even know that you had and made meals? Are you using that as time with your family? Maybe you're teaching someone to cook. Maybe you're working as a team to cook. Maybe you're rotating tasks or planning meals together. Or maybe you're serving one another by cooking as a gift to the other people in your family. Well, whatever it is, you're probably doing less takeout and you're probably not eating in a restaurant. In fact, I don't know of any restaurants that
Just
are
takeout. They're all shuttered.
available in the whole country. That's crazy. Yeah. So how many of us were eating at a restaurant 3 to 5 to 7 times a week? And now that's changed. And are you any healthier for it? Are you eating the right amounts? And let's go back to what Michael began with, which is, we love to read and we love to learn. And for whatever reason, it seems like once you learn one thing about a topic, the world, the universe brings you other information about that same topic. That's right.
Synchronicity.
That's right.
What it's called.
Right. And think about what he said. He said the scientific research that we just read about says that the mood that you have while you're eating influences how well you digest, how well your body processes that food. Isn't that crazy? Who'd have thought? Do Michael, what's his last name? Pallin.
Yes.
Do his quote about letting corporations cook for you. How did he say that?
Well, that's just that. It says, we don't have to let corporations cook for us. That came out of World War II when they were making rations for the troops. And they tried to turn it into a business, and it took over America. But now we have the leisure and the luxury of actually cooking food at home, in the kitchen, with our loved ones and for our loved ones.
At least for another couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
So be thoughtful, be thinking about that and your role in that. And our 5th tip for the day, Michael?
Just remember what the Beach Boys said. Add some music to your day. Music is great. It changes your mood. It gets you in touch with emotional memory. It's a great environmental mood setter. So add some music. Here's some tips this week. Today, day 36, mental hygiene. Thank you.
Have a marvelous week.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow.